What's up, guys? Game Crunch here. The PS5 Pro is real, and we are going to react to this video. I've already seen the actual trailer from Sony, which doesn't actually say much. It just kind of shows it off. This video here from CNET kind of shows more of the details of what the PS5 Pro includes. So this is the video I kind of wanted to watch. I haven't seen it yet. So we're going to kind of get a deep dive into what the PS5 here has to, PS5 Pro has to offer. And we're going to get right into it. I'm going to give you my thoughts, and I'd like to hear your thoughts down below. And if it's your first time here, of course, I got to plug the like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. You know, all that fun stuff. Let's just get right into the video and see what's going on with this PS5 Pro, because $699. And that's quite pricey. So let's see what we get for $699. All right, let's check this out.
I'm here at PlayStation headquarters with exclusive hands-on of Sony's brand new PlayStation 5 Pro console.
First of all, it's exactly like those those sketches show. So that was Bill Coon. He wins.
Well, that's coming out in November. Yes, I got to play a bunch of games on it. Here's what's going on. It's been 4 years since Sony released the PlayStation 5, which went by pretty fast in the middle of a pandemic. But the idea of next generation kind of lingers in my head, and probably for a lot of people. When do you buy a console? Well, Sony had...
See how tall it was? Hang on, go back. Sheesh! The regular one's already tall enough. Look at the size of it, mate. It almost looks like it's got like a spring in the middle. Like you could almost like squish it down. Man, that is... I don't think that's gonna fit down there. I don't know. All right, let's continue.
A lot of people, when do you buy a console? Well, Sony has had mid-range.
Oh, that was a slim. I don't have a slim.
In the past, the PlayStation 4 Pro came out 3 years after the PlayStation 4, and lo and behold, the PlayStation 5 Pro is coming out 4 years after the PlayStation 5. For $699, you're paying more, but not too much, tremendously more, compared to the PlayStation 5 that is already on the market and has an upgraded, slimmer version. Compared side by side,
it's $200 more. American.
In fact, it's a little bit smaller than the PlayStation 5 original, which is a nice surprise because the PlayStation 4 Pro was definitely bigger and thicker.
Look at it. It's bigger. This guy's on drugs, man. This guy's on drugs. What world is this? Smaller than that. Maybe a little less thick? Maybe he's talking weight? I don't know. Doesn't look smaller to me. Let's find out.
What do you get? Well, there's no optical drive.
No, boo. See, that's what I was worried about. No optical drive. Ugh. All my games are physical, man. Watch, there's going to be an attachment.
An optical drive that's available on the slim model and pop it in. And also,
there we go. More money.
People choose to prefer the digital version now, considering that there's also Wi-Fi 7, and the size of the drive is now bumped up to 2 terabytes, which is the same speed as the.
You just buy a drive for it, though.
Same CPU too, but the GPU is a lot beefier. It's supposed to be 67% more powerful and 38% faster, and it's going to.
That's pretty much what that's pretty much what the leak said. I'm not sure on the exact numbers, but that sounds from the top of my head about what the leak said. 67 and 38, and then apparently it makes the CPU like 1% slower or something like that, but overall you're going to get a faster image. The funny thing is, I wonder if devs are still going to target 30 frames per second on this thing. Oh,
performance for all the games, and a lot more things like ray tracing. There's also a big focus on upgrading the resolution of existing
resolution.
Games. PlayStation Spectral
Why don't we focus on
resolution
frame rate, man?
Is the technology that uses an AI neural upscaling using a convolutional neural network to basically just make sure the games play really nicely in 4K. And speaking of 4K, existing PlayStation 5 games, they always had 2 modes, which was either 1080p, 60 frames per second, or 4K at 30 frames per second. Sony's now offering a Pro mode that glues both of those together, and so you're getting both 60 frames per second and 4K. Now, that's exactly what I would have wanted to play in the first place. If you're interested in doing things like 8K games,
kind of what they promised,
things like 120 frames per second, there are capabilities for games to do that, but those are going to be on a game-by-game basis. Real push here is for really nice 4K 60 frames per second across the board for your entire library. What does this mean for the future of PlayStation? I got to talk to Mark Cerny.
I can't wait for the first game that comes out and the PS5 Pro. And then they got to do the whole PR thing where they're like, oh, we had to target fidelity. We feel like most people play in fidelity mode anyway, and we had to target 30 frames per second to get the game to run. I can't wait. That's going to happen probably within the first year of this console.
Lead systems architect for PlayStation, and Hideaki Nishina-san, CEO and
Especially if
founder
they're
of
targeting a
Sony
lot of
Interactive
resolution.
Entertainment. They talked
Like
about
that's their
how,
goal,
in a lot of ways,
resolution.
PC gaming right now is providing a kind of an on-ramp for some of these technologies, but also allowing Sony to lead a bit with some things like ray tracing, where they're using an AMD-developed ray tracing technology that isn't even in existing GPUs. Some of that will kind of ride ahead, and other things, like maybe more advanced graphics that you might be used to on PCs, will finally have a chance to come over to PlayStation 5 Pro. And as a lot of games now are increasingly cross-platform, and Sony's games live on PCs, you'll probably see much more of that cross-pollination. Clearly a fidelity push for people who may have really big TVs or really big AV lovers and want something that either looks the best it can be or runs really smoothly. On the big screens that I played on,
I'm always prioritizing runs smoothly, man. I can't deal with the choppy frame rates on the fidelity modes.
You could definitely see the difference. But if you're a PlayStation 5 owner, I think you could also be fine continuing to play the PlayStation 5. There are going to be about 50 games that come out at launch with upgrades specifically for the PS5 Pro. Now, while a lot of them will involve the introduction of this new Pro mode that will be able to run at a smooth 60 frames per second and 4K performance, there are going to be others that do other things. It could be graphic upgrades to the environment, more people in the environment. So that's a console. Let's go play the games. This
Yeah,
is
let's check them out. Let's
Sony's
see.
PlayStation demo room where I got to try out
I
the
want to see
PlayStation
Dragon's
5
Dogma
Pro and a
2.
bunch of games in two different setups. The first one,
And you have
got to play on
Horizon,
two
of
different
course.
monitors, checking out a whole bunch of games on the PlayStation 5 and then the PlayStation 5 Pro, looking at the two different play modes, fidelity and performance on the 5, and then the Pro mode on the PlayStation 5 Pro. That's Horizon Forbidden West. And then I got to play 3
Really?
games
I didn't know
on a
what
big
that was.
80-inch screen, including
Oh.
Gran Turismo 7, which has an 8K mode, or alternately, one with ray tracing turned on.
Racing
Which is
games
what I've got
always
right
look
here.
gorgeous,
this
though.
is obviously the version I would want to play. It is the reflections and ray tracing are beautiful. I got really into playing Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and I love games like this. What's really fun is that it's just such a fast game, and
Just kind of showing it
I feel
sideways
like
here, though.
the Pro makes it feel faster.
I mean, streaming
I'm going to one
compression's
controller that's
not going to help
connected
either
to a
way.
PS5, playing on a PS5 for a bit, and then I would jump back and forth between that and a PS5 Pro to see what it's like. This is the 4K 30 frames per second version of Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah, you can
which
see it's
I'm used to and looks
not as
really
smooth.
good. But what looks even better is playing it 4K 60 frames per second.
Let's see. Why is this cameraman
PS5
not
Pro,
like?
which looks buttery smooth.
I don't want to see this guy.
Really
Cameraman.
crisp. So
Bro.
it is like going back and playing it on the 30 frames. It's kind of hard to do.
I hope this guy was fired up for
because
this.
looks
Look at this.
really-
Yeah, that looks great.
Unfortunately, Sony
Fantastic.
didn't let us do any direct capture of the PlayStation 5 Pro
Oh.
demos at Sony's headquarters, and they didn't let us do any close-up, real extended looks at the gameplay on screen either. But hopefully, you can get an understanding of what I'm talking about.
Oh, so that was
This video will be
Sony,
released on
not.
November 7th. What does this mean for the future of next-gen gaming? Well, that's hard to tell because we're not maybe fully in next-gen gaming yet, but we're getting there by increments. PlayStation 5 Pro is the hottest of the new gaming technology tech that we've seen, and it's adopting some ideas that PC gaming still doesn't have yet. It'll be really interesting to see where games start to.
That explains why the cameraman was panning over and wouldn't let us see. Oh, you can see how it runs on the PS5, and then, well, you can't see how it runs on the PS5 Pro because Sony won't let us. Then what's the point of this video?
Evolve and get better along with PS5
And to be
Pro
honest-
graphics, but also where the PS5 Pro
It kind of looked better on the PS5 regular because the brightness was higher. I almost thought the PS5 Pro was the one on the bottom.
tracing and all of that tech begins to hint at where technology is going to be headed for PC gaming to
If
come.
you go back,
Not everyone's going to want to upgrade.
Hang on,
to this,
hang on,
but
hang
I'm really curious about what games are going to start looking
yeah,
at.
whatever, buddy.
Looking at the two different.
Look at this. Does that not look better on the PS5 below? And I think it's literally just, it's either the way the angle is filmed on the TV or it's literally like the brightness being higher on one TV. They're probably the exact same TV. I don't imagine they would be dumb enough to use two different TVs. But yeah, it seems really weird they wouldn't let him demo the actual gameplay. I don't know. What are your thoughts? I don't see myself getting one of these, to be honest. Like the PS5 Pro, or not the PS5 Pro, the regular PS5. I mean, it's doing everything I need it to do. I don't need it to do any more than it's doing, especially for the cost of this thing. You know, so I'm gonna have to trade in my PS5, and then it's gonna cost me hundreds of dollars. Plus, then I gotta buy a disc drive because my whole like I have like 2 digital games, and the rest is all on that shelf. It's all physical because I still believe heavily in physical games because then you have something tangible, something that you can hold on to, and something that has value, not even just in the immediate future, but in the distant future. So when you buy a game digitally, let's say you buy a game digitally and you don't like it and you don't care about it, and you don't want it in the collection, you could sell that. You could sell it, even if it's like $20. You could sell that. You can't do that with a digital game. You can't sell it. And then when the server starts going offline, I know that most of it's going to be downloaded to the console anyway, so the physical disc isn't that important. But the fact that you can just sell that game, plus it's going to have value essentially forever. In the future, I'm sure we will find a way to fix the downloading of the games in the future. We'll have someone will figure it out. Someone will have a server, whatever. We can download the rest of the files and do the check. We'll figure it out. That's going to be like 10, 15 years in the future. But I don't know. I'm not super impressed with this. I mean, the main game I think I'd want to see would be Dragon's Dogma 2, which got a little choppy here and there, and I would like to see that game at 60 frames. But what are your thoughts? Let me know down below. Are you going to get a PS5 Pro? Is this sold for you? And as always, like and subscribe really helps the channel grow. I'll catch you guys on the next Game Crunch. Have a good one.